Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Monday, September 8th, 2025. Stand up for your country. Well, it's a big week for us. Confronting evil hits the marketplace tomorrow. Boy, I started talking about it 6 months ago. I can't believe it was like a flash, but it's here and it's worth your time, and we'll tell you why. And I'm doing a lot of media, obviously. You got to do that to get people's attention, because people are so distracted now with the phones and their kids and the sports and whatever it may be. It's like a pound. Did you know that according to marketing studies, it takes a mention of a product, any product, confronting evil is a product, 9 times before Americans get it in here that it exists? 9 times. Used to be once or twice or 3 times. Now you got to go 9. So I hate to be repetitive, but book is worth your while. We'll talk about it a little bit in this broadcast, based upon Tucker Carlson's statement that Putin is not as evil as Biden. I hope you read my column on this. I filed it yesterday. It's on BillO'Reilly.com. I'm not mocking Mr. Carlson. He's an ex-teammate of mine. But what I'm trying to say is that people don't understand evil, which is why I wrote this book. I mean, you got to understand it. And we'll get into that. But first, the talking points memo. The Trump administration hits a wall. All right, so he's everywhere. And he's paying a price for it. His hands hurt. He's slashed over a little bit. He's tired. There has not been a president in modern history in the first 7 months who has tried to reform the government as much as Donald Trump has. That is a true historical statement. FDR would be second because he walked into the Great Depression. But half the country doesn't want reform. Half the country still supports the Democratic Party. That didn't want to change one thing other than raise taxes. Violence, okay with them. Ukraine war, nothing. Gaza, nothing. So the people who support the Democrats, and there are millions and millions of them, okay, they don't want to reform at all. So that Trump is up against that. But he doesn't really care. He made promises and he wants to keep them. But right now, he's stalled. Let me back it up. So you've got Ukraine, which Donald Trump thought he would solve very quickly. But Putin is not the same president that Trump dealt with 5 years ago. Putin now is a certified psychopath. He does not want to stop the killing. Very hard to negotiate with a person like that. China trade has stalled. This is huge. Xi playing a little bit of a game, waiting to see if Trump can get anything out of Putin. And finally, you got the Hamas situation. Just today, 2 Palestinians assassinated 6 innocent people in Israel. Just today, okay? And Hamas applauded it. You know, you anti-Israel people out there, if you don't see the evil coming out of Hamas and those terrorists, then don't read my book. There's nothing I can do for you. I opened the book with the October 7th attack just to put you in the middle of evil. But if you don't believe it at this point, forget about the book. Be a total waste of time for you. All right, so Trump is stalled on all 3 of those things right now. It frustrates him, okay? Then he's got the economy, which right now people are worried about. And I'll give you the poll numbers in a moment, but let me give you the economic numbers because they're very, very important. So unemployment in the USA is 4.3%, okay? 4 years ago under Biden, it was 4.8%. Inflation right now is 2.7%. 4 years ago, 5.4%. So obviously, the nation is better off now than it was 4 years ago under Biden. not even debatable. But Trump promised, and this is why he got elected, all right, economic relief. Now, that's a little dicier. According to a Reuters poll, and that Reuters is so-so, most Americans are worried. Do you approve of the way Donald Trump is handling employment and jobs? Approve 38, disapprove 51. That's not a good number for the president. Do I believe the number is accurate? Not really. But I do believe that Trump has got people are waiting to see, but they're not happy right now. I think that's accurate. CBS poll, again, questionable poll. Do you think the U.S. economy is getting better? 27%. Worse? 56%. That is a tough number. Staying the same, 17. Okay? So you are looking at, and by the way, I hate by the way, but in addition, that's a better phrase, November 24, after Trump was elected, getting worse was 42. It's now up to 56. Why? It's because of the grocery store, primarily. Gas prices in my neighborhood on Long Island, they're coming down a little bit. Okay, they're not as bad as they were under Biden. And you could see that the oil supply is rising. That, I think, will continue. But food prices, the truth is the grocery stores and restaurants do not want to drop these prices. And Trump can't force them. They don't want to drop them. Food companies don't want those prices going down. And that's really a tough problem. It's almost like Putin. So you're trying to deal rationally with these problems. Can't deal with an irrational man, Putin. Got to force him, okay? And the U.S. companies are going, I don't want to drop my prices. I'm getting it. People have to eat. So why do I want to drop them? The only way that happens is if competition steps in and some lower their prices, then the others almost have to do it. Very, very difficult. So at this point, the Trump administration has lost some momentum. However, next week, interest rates will probably be cut. That could provide a storm surge for Trump. I don't know if it will. Nobody can predict these things. The tariffs, a little bit further out, could go either way. And that's the memo. The American dream is changing. Forget the white picket fence. Today, it's about getting out of debt. If rising prices and credit card bills are weighing you down, there is hope. Done with debt. They don't offer loans or push bankruptcy. Their expert negotiators go straight to your creditors, cutting what you owe, wiping out interest, eliminating penalties. They fight until your debt is gone. Most clients see more money in their pocket the first month. You've worked too hard to let debt win. With Done With Debt, freedom is possible. Please visit donewithdebt.com. Talk with one of their experts, completely free. But some of their solutions are time sensitive, so don't wait. Please go to donewithdebt.com. Again, donewithdebt.com. Joining us now is a economist who's, he's on it. He's a pro-Trump guy, Steve Moore. He's the co-founder of Unleash Prosperity. I get his stuff every day, and it's worth reading, that's for sure. In my analysis, am I making any mistakes, Mr. Moore?
Hi, Bill. Great to be with you. Thanks so much for having me on. Great admirer of yours. I think you got most of the story right. As a Trump guy, if I were a Trump political guy, I advise him a little bit on economics. I would be worried about those numbers. Now, remember, one thing that skews these numbers is that the country is, as you've reported and everyone knows, is so polarized today that Trump could start world peace. He could find a cure for cancer. He could create 10 million jobs, and still about half the country would still say they oppose him. Just as under Biden, half of the country was opposed to everything he was doing. So that's why I take a little bit of these polls with a grain of salt. But it is worrisome. You're right. And I think you diagnosed the problem well, that the biggest thing that people are concerned about, and I have a one person sample, and that's my wife, who says every time I come home, you got to do something about grocery prices. And people are angry about it. And they went way up under Biden and they've stayed high under Trump. So that is something people are very worried about because they go to the store, 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. Now, I would say that one thing is going to provide some big relief is what you mentioned at the end, which is energy prices. Gas prices are coming down, and many areas of the country were below $3 a gallon when they were as high as $5 a gallon a few years ago. So that's something that people pay attention to as well, and that is a result of Trump's drill baby drill policies. You increase the supply of something, the price goes down.
Okay. Is there anything that any president can do about lowering food prices? Or is it just the marketplace that has to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's the marketplace. One of the things that's really curious, Bill, and I don't have an answer to this, but I'll just raise it as an issue. Have you talked to farmers lately? They don't feel like they're doing very well. The farmers, they're complaining.
They always
And yet you've
complain.
got high. What's that?
They always complain.
Yeah.
I've never,
So
ever, and I love the farmers,
All right.
but
Well,
they
they're
always
feeling
complain.
strained now. And so you have prices at the grocery store are going up, and yet farmers are saying they're not doing any better. So where's the money going?
The transportation companies and the food companies. Food companies' margin of profit, okay, the big food companies, it's up. They're not hurting. That's where the money's going. But I don't see, Nixon, as you know, and being an economic scholar, tried wage price controls. Disaster.
Didn't work.
Can't do it. So when Donald Trump says, I'm going to bring down food prices, he's raising expectations to a level that he can't meet. Am I wrong?
I don't think he should have said that. What he should have said is, I'm going to stabilize food prices. And to a large extent, he has done that. I mean, look, the overall inflation rate in the economy, which had reached as high as 9% under Joe Biden, is now running at 2.6, 2.7%. That I'd like to see that down below 2.5%. I'd like to see it closer to 2%, but it's it's in a range that you can live with. Now, one thing to think about, if people are concerned about high prices, then is this the right time to be cutting interest rates? Because cutting interest rates puts more money in the economy. I'm a little nervous about that. When Trump says, let's cut interest rates by 200 basis points, be careful of what you wish for, Mr. President. You flood the economy with that much money. What is inflation? We learned this from Milton Friedman.
Well, he's
inflation
hoping
is too many dollars chasing too few goods. So
he's
putting a lot of new money
hoping
in the
that
economy may not be a great idea.
But here's what he's hoping for. He's hoping that the interest rate cut will stimulate job creation and get the job market moving again so that people would be earning more money. That's what the tariff thing's all about. He wants the American people to earn more money because that's what happened in his first term. So that's why he's doing it. I don't oppose that. But here's the last question for you. This issue is everything for Donald Trump, far more than Ukraine and Gaza, and even China. China is unbelievably serious. But this issue is coming to a head in the midterm elections. It's 14 months. And if the White House is not able to present a vastly improving economic situation, they risk losing Congress, one or both houses. That's the urgency.
Yeah. Well, I agree with what you just said. It is the economy, stupid. And I'm very bullish. You're talking to one of the most bullish guys out there. I like a lot what Trump is doing. Now, I'm not a big fan of the tariffs, but I like these trade deals. I think he's going to get a better deal with some of these countries. He's already gotten commitments of hundreds of billions of dollars. He says trillions, but I'm going to say hundreds of billions of dollars of new investment in the United States. That will create a lot of jobs. We have completely secured the border. We've got, down 94% in terms of illegal immigration. As I mentioned, low gas prices, a record high stock market, and people are feeling, just better about stuff. So I think good times are here to come.
All right, Steve. For everybody, I hope you're right. It's not a political play. I want all Americans to have better lives, and you need money to do that. There's no doubt about it. Okay, let's go to Chicago. So this is on hold. But here's something very clever. And the news media never reports this. That's why you watch and listen to me. So there's a constitutional problem with Trump sending National Guard and federal agents to control crime in Chicago. There's no doubt. That's the posse comitatus law. So here's what the administration is doing. It's flooding Chicago with ICE agents because Chicago is a sanctuary city. In order to protect those ICE agents, President Trump is saying, I need federal authority because the locals may hurt the ICE federal agents. We have to protect them. So I'm going to send in the Guard and some federal agents, FBI, DEA maybe, to protect the federal immigration agents on the ground because they need protection. That's what he did in LA. So look, we got to protect federal property because the LA authorities aren't going to do it. And the California authorities. That's what's happening now. Still a gray area, but gives the administration more authority constitutionally than it would have if it just went boom. That's why the Guard isn't in there. And at the same time, the Trump administration, the president himself, believes he's winning the issue because the Democrats that oppose this have no solution to the vast murders. Listen, this weekend, not a holiday weekend, 19 people shot in Chicago. 19. 7 dead, 12 wounded. Illinois and Chicago cannot control the violence. It's going on for years. They don't want to control it. They don't want to, because then you get into racial politics. Then you get into, hey, it's mostly black drug gangs killing other blacks. They don't want to deal with it. So, it obviously has to be addressed. And if your state and city won't address it, federal has to. Now, that's been going on, as I said in the message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com, since George Wallace. All right, was standing in the doorstep and JFK said, get out of there, I'm sending a guard in. Eisenhower sent the Guard to Arkansas to enforce federal law. Okay, I forget what president it was that took over the New Orleans. I think it was Reagan. Took over the whole police department in New Orleans because it was so corrupt. Feds ran it. This is not unprecedented. So that's what's happening in Chicago. There is a poll. CBS again. Question: do you favor or oppose Donald Trump's decision to deploy National Guard to Washington? Favor 43, oppose 57. Okay? Break it by party. Only 7% of Democrats favor that. 93% oppose. Republicans, 87 favor, 13 oppose. Okay? So, even though that's federal authority, and since the Guard has been in Washington, it's been a 38% drop in violent crime. That's a lot of deaths prevented. Democrats don't care. They don't care. Now, it's not a partisan statement, it's a factual statement. If you say to them, hey, 38% drop in violent crime, that's significant. They don't have any answer to that. Oh, Trump's a fascist. Oh, the Constitution. Oh, police state. Blah, 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 blah. In Chicago, the machine hates Trump. This is Pritzker, Johnson. So they're never, ever going to cooperate with him. So what's going to happen in Chicago? I think the Guard will go in because the president doesn't shy away from these legal battles. Supreme Court, protecting ICE agents. It's tough. Going to be 5-4 either way. So that's what's going on there. Cold and flu season coming on up. We all know it. And it really is nothing to take lightly. So when people start getting sick all across the country, medications disappear. Everybody wants it at the same time. So it's very, very smart to have a pharmacy you can count on, like All Family Pharmacy. Right now, they're helping Americans get ahead of the curve with 10% off antibiotics, antivirals, other essentials. You know how important it is to have the right meds when you get sick, particularly when your kids get sick. You don't want to be going into the doctor's office, spending all the time. You want to have them at your home. So if you have a few months' supply, you don't have to worry. And that's what we're doing here. If you believe in medical freedom, okay, and taking care of your family, as I do, this is the pharmacy for you. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10%. What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting some breathing room. It is possible when you call American Financing. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, you're not alone. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off debt. Please call American Financing today before the problem gets worse. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. Their customers save an average of $800 a month. It's fast, simple, and it could save your budget this summer. Please call now before it's too late. American Financing, 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/Bill. All right, here is the final thought of the day. So I had a great mom, Winifred Angela O'Reilly, okay? Kindest woman. Oh my God, she was so good at being a mom. Luckiest thing in my life that I had her raising me. My mother never experienced evil in her entire life. She lived in a bubble, a suburban bubble in Levittown. It was a neighborhood, it was a church, it was socializing. She never saw it, not one time. My father built a kind of a protective wrap around the house. But I've seen evil 50 years of reporting like crazy. But my mother knew it existed, but she never saw it. A lot of people like that. And I open Confronting Evil with October 7th, the Hamas raid in Israel. I put you right in the middle of that raid in case you have never experienced direct evil. And that's why the worthiness of the book, you got to know what the world is all about, and we have to fight it. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.